Hi, and welcome to BremSter Puzzles, a channel where I try and showcase the fun that could be had in the world of variant Sudoku. And talking about variants, this is a puzzle that uses a variant that I've not shown before on the channel, because I've never solved this variant before. This puzzle is called Wholesome by Oddlyeven. I've definitely done Oddlyeven puzzles before. And it uses the Russian doll sums constraint, which I'm going to need to figure out because I've read the rules and I think I understand what they mean, but going through them on the channel, I'm going to have to really figure them out. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. I don't really have anything to go through. I'm still sort of covering some other stuff. I hope people are enjoying the Sudoku tudes, which I think by the time this comes out will have just started again. I schedule everything and record stuff all over the place and then release it. So when you see two videos from me in a day, one of them may be a video from 6 months ago and the other one may be a video from like last week. It doesn't matter. But the whole point is I'm sharing puzzles with you. But I don't think there's anything major to call out. So let's just get straight into it because the rules are going to take a bit of time, I think. So we've got normal Sudoku rules apply. So in every box, in every row, and in every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. And then clues outside the grid are both X sums and Russian doll sums. Okay, so these clues count as both. X sums, which is a clue outside the grid, gives the sum of the first X digits from that direction where X is the digit next to the clue. So for example, if this was if this was a 3, then those 3 digits would need to sum to 15. If this was a 4, then those 4 digits would need to sum to 15. And that is the same. Like if this was a 2, then those 2 digits would need to sum to 7. If this was a 3, those 3 digits would need to sum to 7. And the same is for all of them. If this was a 2, those 2 digits would sum to 11. A 3, those 3 digits would sum to 11. A 4, those 4 digits would sum to 11. So that's the way the rule works. Now, Russian doll sums. A clue N outside the grid. So again, we'll use this 15. So the 15 outside the grid indicates that in that row or column there exists 2 digits that sum to n, so there are 2 digits that sum to 15 in that column, such that the sum of the digits between them is also n. So it's kind of a weird sandwich variant, because if I'm reading this correctly. So what it means is there's 2 digits somewhere in this that sum to 15. So let's say it's here and here. So let's say those digits there sum to 15. And as an example, let's say they're 7 and 8. 7 and 8 sums to 15. And then these 3 digits here, being between that 7 and 8, would have to sum to 15. Now that needs, and they might be 4, 5, 6. That would be a legal way of representing this 15 clue. Now, is that the way it works? I don't know, but that is a legal way of representing the 15 clue because I've got 2 digits that sum to 15, and nestled between the 15, I've got digits summing to 15. But I don't know how this could be. I could also potentially have a 7, 8. Whoops, let's reset this and do it without color. I could potentially have a 7, 8 here and a 6, 9 here, and that would also be valid because I've got 7, 8 here, which are 2 digits summing to 15, and a 6, 9 here, which are 2 digits summing to 15. It doesn't matter how many digits it is to make up the n in the middle. All I know, the only thing that's 2 digits is forming like the crusts of the sandwich. Very interesting constraint. And then there's a digits on a black dot are in a 1 to 2 ratio. Perfectly fine. I have no idea how this is going to work, but I am going to restart the puzzle to restart my timer. Let's give this a shot. So, a 17, I know the Russian doll, like the outside of the Russian doll, is an 8 and a 9 because I need 2 digits that sum to 17. So they must be 8 and 9 because that's the only way that you can do 17 in 2 digits. Similarly, for the 16, I know the 2 digits are 7 and 9 because that's the only way of doing 2 digits. If I don't use a 9, the maximum 2 digits would be 8 and 7, and that only sums to 15. I'm not sure how that's helping me. For a 7, the 2 digits could be 1, 6, 2, 5 or 3, 4. For a 10, it could be anything but a 5. X sums. X sums is restricted. Okay, so how can I make an X sum of 10? Okay, so I can't make this a 1. Because if this is a 1, I'm counting one cell and the clue is automatically a 1. So if this is a 1, I'm only counting that digit, and the only thing I'm counting, the X sum value, is automatically a 1. I could do it in 2 digits with 2, 8. I could do it in 3 digits. I could potentially do it in 4 digits. So this is a 2, a 3, or a 4. I could never do, because if I did 4 with 3, 2, 1, that would work. And you can never have a value where the triangular number of the value, which is that digit plus all of the lower digits, is higher than the value of the clue. So for example, if I was to make this a 5, I would need to add 4 more digits, but the minimum that 4 digits can sum to, because it's 5 digits, the minimum 5 digits is the 5 plus the minimum 4 digits I could put there is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 plus 5 is 15, but the clue is only 10. So this has to stop at 4. Similarly here, though, this could go to 5, but it can't be a 2, because if this is a 2, I'm adding 1 digit to 2 to get to 15, and it'd have to be a 13. So this is 3, 4, or 5. I think all of these are 3, 4, 5. Because I can never do 17 in 2. I could do 17 in 3 by making both of those sum to 14. I could do it in 4, 5. I can't do it in 6, because if I do it in 6, then I'm adding those 5 digits. The minimum I can put in 5 digits is 15 plus 6 is 21. So because none of these digits is higher than 21, these are 3, 4, or 5. I can't do 2, because 2... here I'd need to put 15 under it, and 2 here I'd need to put 14 under it. This is 3, 4, 5. So this is 2 and this is 8, because I need to complete 10 in 2. Let's keep going. 7. I can't do it in 1. Right. Now, you may turn around and say, well, you could do this in 2 or 3, but you can't do 7 in 3. Now, you can't do 4 because the triangular number for 4 is 10. 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus 4 is 10. But you also can't do it in 3, because if I make this a 3, those 2 digits there would need to sum to 4. And the only way to do 4 in 2 digits is 1 plus 3. It doesn't work. This has to be a 2, which means that's a 5, which means that one isn't a 5. Ooh, that's restricting the 17. That's interesting. 11 could be 2, 3, or 4. Can't be 5 because the triangular for 15. And it can't be 4, I don't think. Because if I did 4 here, those 3 digits there would need to sum to 7. And the only way to do 7 is 1, 2, 4. So this is actually 2 or 3. 9 is also 2 or 3. And it's 3 because of the 2 looking down. And those digits there have to sum to 6, which are 1, 5, or 2, 4, which is not that restrictive. So they're the X sums, just getting me started. So now if this is a 3, those sum to 14. Okay. Slowing down a little here. Is it the 10 clue in here? Because I need to put... Hang on, there's a 5 here. If this was a 5-cell long clue, you can't do 16 in 5. Similar to the reason I couldn't do 11 in... the reason I couldn't do 11 in 4, because the only way to make... If I put a 4 here, I'd need 7. If I put a 5 here, these next 4 digits would need to sum to 11. But the only way to do 11 in 4 digits is 1, 2, 3, and 5, and I'd have 2 5s in the column. That's not a 5. And the reason I know that, by the way, is if you think about how the minimum of the digits you can make 10 in 4 digits. Think about this as I put a 5 here, these need to sum to 11. But the minimum I can do in 4 digits is 1, 2, 3, 4 to get me to 10. In order to increase that by 1, I need to increase one of those digits by 1, but I can't increase the 1 by 1 or I end up with 2 2s. Similarly with the 2 and the 3, I can't increase the 2 or the 3 by 1 or I end up with duplicated digits, so I have to increase the 4 to a 5. So the only way to do 11 in 4 digits is 1, 2, 3, 5. That's how I remember that. So if this is a 5, these have to be 1, 2, 3, 5, and I've got 2 5s in there. There's no 5 there. This is a 5, and this is 15 in 5. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's no 2 there. So now oh, sorry about knocking the microphone. That's never good. So now, is it how do I do the 10 sum? Because 2 digits summing to 10, I can't use 2 8 because the 2 8 is already here. I've got 3 7 4 6 or 1 9. If it's 3 7 or 4 6, could I do 1 9? This 5 is in the way. This 5 is in the way. I couldn't put, let's look at 1 9. I couldn't put 1 9 here because I can't put a 10 in between it. I couldn't put a 1 9 here. So if I put a 1 9 here, this would need to be a 5. Like if I put 1 9 in those two cells, the cell under my mouse cursor would need to also be a 5. Here's my cursor is showing. This would need to be a 5, and that doesn't work. So if I did 1 9, I couldn't do it here. I can't do it here. If I couldn't do it here, and I can't do it here because then it's 5. So the only option I'd have is that, but those two digits would need to sum to 5. But the only way I can do 5 in 2 is 1 4, not possible, or 2 3, and I don't have 2 or 3 available either. So I can't do 1 9. So I have to use one of those two digits. It's 3 7 or 4 6. And I can't end it here, so it's got to include the 5. It must include the 5. So the 3 would have the 7 over here and the 4 would have the 6 over here. So if I do 3 7, so let's say I do 3 7 here. I can't do 3 7 here because then I would need another 5. If I did 3 7 here, those two digits would need to sum to 5, but I don't have 2, 3, 1, or 4 available. I still can't do it. It's got to be a 2 sum. I can't do a 3-cell 10 sum because I don't have 2, 3, or 4 available, and I must include the 5. So it's a 2-cell 10 sum starting from one of those. And if it was a 2-cell 10 sum starting, sorry, it's a 3... I can't do a 2-cell 10 sum including the 5. I'm already broken. Oh, no, I'm not. That must be included. I can't. Yeah, if this started and I ended, I couldn't do a 2-cell to 5 unless I include that to get the 4 or 3 involved, and it can't be the 3 because the 2 is gone. This has to go 3 4. And let me explain. Okay, wow, this is tricky to explain. Okay, how do I explain this? So, as I was saying, I can't do 1 9 in any of those. If I make this the 3 and I make that the 7, this is a 5. If I make that 3 and that the 7, I've still got to make 2 cells sum to 5 without using 2, 3, or 4. There's no way of doing it. So, I can't do a 2-cell 5. I can't do a single cell 10 sum without there being 2 5s. I need a 2-cell sum to 5, and the only way to do that is to use those 2 cells because I have to start in one of those. Because if I don't use those 2 cells and that one, so this is the 6 or the 7, because if I don't include that one, I don't have a 2, 3, or 4 to complete the 5 sum. Now, those 2 cells now need to sum to 5, whichever one to start here. So this is either 3 2, which it can't be. So this is 4 1, and that's the 3. And the 3, that's the 10 sum, means that's the 7, and these, and that's my run. There's my 2 cells summing to 10, there's my 3 cells summing to 10, and there's my 10x sum, and this clue is done. And these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, these are 6 and 9. I don't know how to resolve those. This is tricky. This is a 3-cell 16 sum. So those 2 cells sum to 13. Well, they can't be 9, 4, 8, 5, or 7, 6. That's not 7, so that's not 6. And that's looking at X sum logic. Those digits there sum to 13. 13 without 4 or 5. This is where my math really melts my brain. Is there another way of looking at this? Oh, hang on, 15. I need 2 cells that sum to 15 with digits that sum to 15 between them. Well, these can't be part of the 2 cells that sum to 15. So these have to be the 2 cells that sum to 15, and those have to be the cells that sum to 15 between them. Those are 6, 7, 8, 9, and those 2 digits there must sum to 15, and those must be the digits between them. But I need more than that. I think it is up here, but I'm not sure how to do it. Because I don't have much information out of, well, I've done the 15 clue now, almost. I've done the 15x sum, and once this is resolved, I'm done. So how do I do this? If I... Oh, whoa. Okay, let's think about this from a sandwich perspective and outies. Because if I think about the crusts and the filling of the sandwich, we know the crust sum to 16 and the filling of the sandwich sums to 16. Those sum to 32. Now, an entire column or row of a Sudoku contains all of the digits from 1 to 9. If you add those together, they sum to 45. But I've got 32 from the Russian doll. So 45 minus 32 is 13. So outside of the 7-9 boundary, and there's no 9 in here, outside of the 7-9 boundary, because I can't do 9 in here because I'd need 9, 4. Outside of the 7-9 boundary are digits summing to 12. But if I made this a sum without a 7 or a 9 in it, I'd have digits outside the 7-9 boundary that summed to 16. And I'd have 16 plus 32 in the column, and 16 plus 32 is 48. And that's too many digits in a column. So I must have a 7 or a 9 in here. That's a 7. 376 is what this must be, and that is one of the crusts. That's brilliant. Now, the 9 is 16 away. So, I'm already 8 away. I could put a single 8 here and put a 9 here. That would work. Can I do 8 in 2 digits? I can't do 1, 7. I can't do 2, 6. I can't do 3, 5. I can't do 8 in 2 digits. 8 in 3 digits? No, because the minimum is 1, 4, 5, which is 10. So it is 8 as a single digit to get me to the 16, and then that is the 9. And I've done the X sum. That's 3 digits summing to 16. That's 16, and that's 16. That is the 16 clue done. That column is brilliant. Now I've got to do this. Well, I'm going to pencil. Well, actually, no. I'm going to do a 9 out of here and a 6 out of here because remember, these had to sum to 15. Now, these have to contain a 2. I'm not sure. Have to contain a 5 in one of those two. There's an 8 in here and there's a 9 in here. I need to put an 8 or a 9 in here, I think, because I've got the same problem. 17 times 2 is 34. So I need 11 outside. Well, I can't put 8 or 9 down here. And I can't put 8, 9 down here with 17 in the middle. So there is an 8 or a 9 in there. And the other one is down here. Hang on, but these have to sum to 17. These have to sum to 17. Those 4 digits. I am going to pencil mark this. This is 2, 5, 8, 9. And there's no 5 in there. These are from 2, 8, 9. But if this was an 8, 9, there must be a 2 in here. Because if this was 8, 9, those 2 digits would sum to 17 on their own. So this can't be 4, 8, 9 because then I'd be at 21 and this would have to be minus 4. That's not going to work. So there's must be a 2 in here. Now, I'm at 6 with the 4 and the 2. 6 plus 8 is 14, which would make that a 3. And 6 plus 9 is 15, which would make that a 2, and it can't be. So this is 3. There is no 9 here. This is 2, 8, and there's no 8 here. This is 5, 9. This is beautiful. And now the 9 is down here. And I need 17 before the 9. The 17x sum is done. Because that's 10, 17. The 17x sum is done. This can't be the 9, surely. Because 34, I need 11. There's no way, that's not an 11. And if that was the 8, I can't, 4 and 2 would not make 11. So this can't be the 9. So this is included in the 11 sum outside, possibly that digit as well. I need 17. I'm at 8. So I need another 11, which includes that. So what are these? 1, 4, 6, and 7. Well, there's no 4 there. Oh, there's no 1 in any of those. That is a 1. So these actually sum to 8. These sum to 8. So I need another 9 to get to the 17. But I can't do 9 in a single cell. I can't do 9 in a single cell because a 9 in a single cell would use one of the 2 crusts I need for the Russian doll. So I need those 2 cells to be included to sum to 9. And I can't use the 8 because the 8 is the crust. So this is 2 and 7, and this is 9 and 8. That's stunning. And now the 17 clue is done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is a 6. Now the 7 takes 7 out of there, which takes 8 out of there, because remember, yellow sums to 15 and green sums to 15. 9 comes out of there, so 6 comes out of there. 4, 6, 7. These are triples. 1, 4, 5. And these are 2, 3, and 8. There's no 3 there. This can't be a 2 anymore. If this is a 2, that would have to be a 9, and it can't be. This is a 3, taking 3 out of there, and those sum to 11. Which means those 2 digits there need to sum to 8. They could be 1, 7, or 2, 6 in any order. Four and 5 have to be in here. There's no 3 there. There's no 2 there. Oh, this is interesting. Where is 9 in that row? I can't put 9 in there. I can't put 9 in there. So 9 is in one of those. So 9 is in one of those two, which means this isn't the 9, so this isn't the 6. Where's 6 in this row? 6 can't be in any of those because I've got 6 there. 6 isn't in any of those because of the X sum clue. So 6 is in one of those two, meaning this is 7, this is 8. Oh, I'm broken. This is wrong. Where did I go wrong? That all felt good. I went wrong in this column somewhere. Now, this has to be the 1 by Sudoku. So I went wrong in my math in this column. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7 has to be correct. But these must sum to 8. This has to be correct. I don't mind if you object to me doing this, but I want to find out where I went wrong because I thought that logic was sound. I've got 8. No, I've got 9 here. This sums to 9. That's where I went wrong. These sum to 9, so the other two digits need to sum to 8. 9 still can't be down here because I would need digits that summed to 11, and I can't make 11 up here. So 9 can't be here. I've got 9 here. That's where I went wrong. I just messed up my math. This sums to 9. So these need to sum to 8. And I can't make this 8, 0. And I can't use 8 or 9 in the sum. So I can't make this a single 8 because then I'd have to have 8, 8, 9. It doesn't work. So it has to be a 2-digit sum to 8. So this has to be the 8. This has to be the 9. This has to be the 2. And in order to get to the 8 sum, because these now sum to 6, these sum to 11, this has to be a 6. That's where I went wrong. And this is the 7. And now this isn't a 6 and this isn't a 9. I'm going to remove some of the stuff that I removed earlier, but I think I've still got the same stuff. I'll put these triples in, 1, 4, 5, and these 2, 3, 8, and there's no 3 there. This feels better. There's no 7 there, so there's no 8 there. But in this row, I can't put 9 in any of those. So 9 is in here, and that's the 8, that's the 7, that's the 6, that's the 9. And that's done. So my logic was correct. I'd just done bad math. Anyone who knows me knows that's not a surprise. And the 15 clue is now done. I've done both the X sum. So this is the X sum, and this is the Russian doll. 6 is down here. 8 is in one of those two. 7 is in one of those. Actually, 7 is in one of those two, putting 7 in one of those two. I haven't got enough on this to tell me anything yet. And that didn't resolve this. No, it did. This still has to be 3, because if it's a 2, that's a 9. So this is still a 3, taking 3 out of there, and those need to sum 3, 7, 1 could still work, actually. So this is these now need to sum to 8. They could be 1, 7. They can't be 2, 6. This is 1, 7. They can't be 2, 6 because of the 6 there. And this is a triple. 2, 4, and 5. That's going to restrict this black dot. But first, where's 8 in this row? It has to be there. So that's the 2, that's the 3. And these are 1, 2, 4, 5. But what can this be now? It can't be 1, 2. So a black dot can only contain a low digit 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's even double. It can't be 1, 2. It can't be 2, 4. It could be 3, 6. It can't be 4, 8. This is 3, 6, which takes 3 out of there. This is a triple. 1, not 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 8, 9 is what those are. There's no 8 there or there because of these two 8s. So that's the 8, and this is a 1, 9 pair. There's no 2 there because of that 2. Okay. So maybe this row because I've got a lot of it. Now these digits here need to sum to 6. So there's still 1, 5 or 2, 4. But I need to find somewhere in this row where I've got 2 digits that sum to 9 with 2 digits that sum to 9 between them. Well, this can't be Russian doll crust because I can't make digits that sum to 9. This can't be Russian doll crust because I can't make digits that sum to 9. This could be, but I'd have to go 8. I'd have to go 8, 9, 1, and I can't. So it's not. None of those are crust. This can't be the crust because I'd need a 0 at the other end. This could be crust if those 2 digits sum to 9. And I think this has to be the crust because I can't make. I think this has to be the crust because these 2 digits sum to 6. So if this was the crust, I'd need to end it there and that digit would need to sum to 9 and it can't. This must be the crust. So this is part of the sum and I can't go 7, 1, 1. So this has to be 7, 2. And we now, those sum to 5, so this has to be the 4 to make this work. So the 7, 2 is the thing, is the way it works, and the 2, 4 makes this the 5. The 5 and the 4 are the crusts with the 2, 7 between them, and that looks across making that the 1, meaning this is not the 1. Wow, this constraint is cool. That's a 4, 5 pair, so what's this? Well, the 5 makes that the 4, that the 5, that the 4, that the 2. And these are now down to triples. 1, 6, 9. And 5, 7, 8. There's no 7 there. There's no 8 there. Great. And the 9 clue is done. I have done both the X sum with 3, 4, 2 summing to 9 and those sum to 9 with 9 between them. Great. The 17 is done because I've done the whole column. I'm just confirming I've got it. 8 and 9 sum to 9. Those digits in between. 11 plus 6 is 17. And 4 means those need to sum to 17. 10 plus 4 plus 3 is 17. The 17 clue is done. So the only clues I've got left are the 7 and the 11. Yeah, I could really do a coffee right now. Not necessarily a 7-Eleven one, but whatever. Beggars can't be choosers. Now, how am I going to get this working? Is it the 11 column? Because I need 2 digits that sum to 11. Which is 9283. Sorry, I just said 83 and realized 8 is in one of those 2 cells. So I don't think it can be 8-3, because if it's 8-3 here, the sum is 8, and if it's 8-3 here, I'd need to put a 3 here, because these are sum to 8, and I'd need another 3 in the column. So it's not 8-3. I'm just going to use this as a little notebook, just for myself, where you can see it. So I could use 9-2, I could use 8-3, I could use 4, 7, and I could use 5, 6. We know it's not 3, 8. It's not possible to be 3, 8. Now, 4, 7 would be 7 here with a 4 up somewhere. That seems possible. But if I put 7 in, the 8 is included. Whoa, 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 whoa. How do I include the 8 in the 11 sum? I don't think I can. Because if I include the 8 in the 11 sum, then, like if this was part of it and I put the 4 further up, the 8 would be automatically included. But the only way I could do it is 8, 3, not possible, or 8 and other digits that sum to 3, which I would need a 1 for to make it 8, 1, 2, and I don't have a 1 available either. So an 8 can never be part of the sum, which means none of these are part of the sum. This could potentially be part of the sum if I put the 8 here, but none of these are part of the sum. But it means that I can't make it 4, 7. So what I'm going to do is make this 5, 6 instead of 4, 7 and completely get rid of that. So I'm working with 2, 9 or 5, 6. Now, can I do the same trick? 22, I need 23 outside of the sum. I'm only at 11. I've got heaps of room. 2, 9 or 5, 6. There is a 6 up here in one of those two. Could I still have 3 digits that sum to 11 in the middle? How would I sum to 11 in 3? The minimum is 2, 4, 5. But it's not. It must be a 2-cell sum in the middle. Because the minimum I could do 3 cells without 1 and 3 is 2, 4, 5. Which does sum to 11, but that would leave me with no valid crust because my crusts are 2, 9 and 5, 6. So it must be either 9 2 cells and 2 or 6 2 cells and 5, which means that must be a crust. Because it must, because the only, hang on. Because I don't have 7, 4 or 8, 3 available. I don't have 7, 4 or 8, 3 available. So these are the only digits I'm playing with. So it's those 4 digits. So these are the crusts and this is the filling. So if this is a 6, this is a 5. If this is a 9, this is a 2. And these are from 2, 5, 6, 9. That is crazy. And these 2 digits are now known. These are 4 and 8. Which means these can't be 4. Which means that's 1, that's 2, that's 9, that's 1. There's no 1 or 2 in here. This is 3, 4. There's no 2 there, so there's no 9 there. There's no 6 there, so there's no 5 there. Ah, the 2 makes that the 5, so that's the 6, that's the 9, that's the 2. The 9 makes that the 5 and that the 9. And the 11 clue, there's my 3-cell X sum. There's 2 digits summing to 11 with 11 between them. And that felt correct. I've made mistakes before, but I think this is right. The 7 here takes 7 out of there. And the 11 clue is done. This puzzle is tricky. So what have we got in here? 1, 3, 4. There's no 3 there. There's no 4 there. The 6 makes that the 9, looking down saying that's not the 9. I need more from Sudoku. Okay, so let's look at this row. Or maybe here. Can I do anything here? Because I need to put 5 and 6. No, I just need to put 5 and 6 in there and that's fine. No, I think I do need to look at this row. I've done the X sum, so I need to figure out how to do the Russian doll. So I can't use 2, 5. So it's either 1, 6 or 3, 4. I could do 1, 6 here with 3, 4 between it. I can't use 1, 2, 4 as the filling. I could use a single 7, however. Yeah, I still have a single 7 available because 7 is in one of those. So, for example, I can't use 1, 6, but I could potentially put 3, 4, 7 in there. 7 in the middle, 4, 3. So if those were 3, 4, 7, what goes wrong there? Then there's no 9. There has to be a 9 in one of those. In fact, there's a 9 in one of those too. 4, and I can't do 4, 7, 3 here because there's a 7 blocking that. That's what that 7 is for, to stop this being 3, 4, 7. Sometimes you can see when a setter puts something in, and I think that Oddlyeven needed something to stop a 3, 4, 7 working here. So we know that the 7 sum in this row is a 2-cell 7 sum because there's nowhere I can do 3, 4, 7. I can't do 1, 7, 6 or 2, 5 with the 7 in between. So it has to be a 2-cell 7 sum. And the only 2-cell 7 sums I'm working with here are 1, 6 and 3, 4. And I can't put a 1, 6 between a oh, I could actually. No, I can't put a 1, 6 between a 3, 4 because neither of those could be 3. So it has to be 3, 4 between 1, 6. So this is the 1, that's the 6, this is the 3, that's the 4, making that the 8 and that the 6. There's a 7 sum with a 7 sum between it. There's a 7x sum. The 7 clue is done. I get the feeling I'm going to get a lot of negative comments on this one. There's no 7 there. These are 8, 9. The 8 is looking down, making that 9 and that 8, because I'm not really sure how to easily explain the logic on this. I hope I've done a good enough job. The 6 is looking across, making that the 4 and that the 6. These are now down to triples. 2, 3, and 5. The 2 and the 3 in column 1 makes that the 5. This is a 2, 3. The 2 makes that the 3 and that the 2. So these are 1, 4, and 7. There's no 7 there. There's no 4 there. Okay, 8 comes out of there, making this a 5, 7, making that the 8. This can't be a 5. Wait a minute. No, the 6 looks down, making that the 1 and that the 6. I was scanning wrong. The 1 looks up, making that the 4, taking 4 out of there. This now has to be a 5. And there's no 5 in those. The 6 looks up saying that's not the 6. This is the 6. And this is 1, 3, 4, but it's not 1. This is a 3 or a 4. The 4 looks up, making that the 3, which makes that the 1, which makes that the 4. The 3 looks across, making that the 4 and that the 3. The 1 looks down, making that the 7 and that the 1. And the 7 looks down, making that the 5 and that the 7. And that is the solution to the puzzle. 39 minutes. This has had 301 solves in 280 days. This puzzle is nearly a year old. Well, 9 months-ish. 8 months-ish. We all know how bad I am at maths. No, 9 months-ish. No, 8 months. Somewhere around there. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to see the solve count on this one break 1,000. Probably won't. I think this one's a little bit harder than the normal fare on my channel, so I reckon it's probably going to hit about 850, but still, that's a really clever puzzle. I've never seen Russian doll sums before, but this was beautifully telegraphed. Could there have been an easier puzzle to introduce this constraint to people? Yes. Was this sold as an introductory puzzle? No. This was just sold as a really good puzzle. And it was. Thank you, Oddlyeven, for creating the puzzle. Thank you to the person who recommended it many months ago. I finally got around to it. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this one. I don't really have anything else I want to call out. So thank you everyone for watching. Of course, like and subscribe and all the YouTube goodness. Comment below on whatever you thought of the puzzle or anything about anything really. Thanks everyone. And as always, good luck with your solving.